The spring real estate market is upon us, and one question is on everybody's mind. Will it be hot or not? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. As always, I am Bill Olson, your favorite YouTubing Charleston realtor. And today we're going to be looking at the historical data and where we are right now in the market to see what we can expect over the next few months in the Charleston real estate market. And what I want to start with here is what happens in March? Well, historically, March is the busiest month out of the year for homes to hit the market. And the busiest stretch of 3 months is March, April, and May. So we are right into this time where more homes are going to be hitting the market. More homes typically means more buyers are going to start coming out and looking. And another March stat is March is the busiest month for showings per listing. So homes get showed more often in March, and there are more homes to show in March. Now, typically, this would point towards a very hot market going into the spring, but that's not all we can really look at right now because of everything that's going on. Now, last year at this time, our months of inventory hit rock bottom. It was the lowest the Charleston area has ever seen at 0.7 months of inventory. From there, all the way until October, November, it started going up to where it peaked around 2.2 months of inventory. Now, if you remember, that's when interest rates hit their peak up in the 7s. And that was actually the highest months of inventory that we had seen since August of 2020. And since November, that months of inventory has started to dwindle to where we are at an overall 1.3 months of inventory in the greater Charleston area. And there are a few regions that are even under 1. James Island, Ladson, Goose Creek, West Ashley inside 526 are looking at 0.7 months of inventory, where West Ashley outside of 526 and Mount Pleasant are at 0.9. There is less than 1 month of inventory in all of these areas. And when it comes to total inventory, back October, November, we were around 3,500 active listings in the market. And right now we're at about 2,400. So that has significantly dropped, which is typical for this time of year. But also when you look at historically, in this time of year, we were usually around 5,000 to 6,000 units of active inventory. So that is way down. And I think that's going to play into whether we are hot or not. All of these numbers are pointing towards an incredibly hot real estate market this spring, but the one thing that has changed from every other year is where interest rates are right now. And they are kind of peeking their head into those 7s, occasionally hovering in the high 6s. Now that is a far cry from the mid to high 3s that we were seeing just 1 year ago. So that's going to put a damper on the demand, but I think we're also going to see a little bit of damper on that supply, that we're not going to see as many as usual that we normally see hitting the market, because these people that do have these, that refinance, that have interest rates in the 2s and 3s, aren't going to be as prone to put their house on the market. But I think demand is actually going to go up faster than supply this spring. So here's my prediction. Now, last year, when everything was going crazy, February, March, April, May, and people were paying over asking price, dropping all their contingencies, we had a lot of buyer fatigue in the market. And what that means is you had these buyers that were writing offer after offer after offer, and they just could not compete with the other buyers that had more cash and could cover any appraisal gaps, or they were willing to purchase a house as is. You know, this comes down to a lot of first-time home buyers that just didn't have that cash to do that. So it was very hard for them to compete. VA loans, FHA loans, it was very hard for them to compete against these other buyers. So what did they do? They either stayed in their home, or a lot, first-time home buyers, they were renting. So what did they do? They signed a new lease a little under a year ago. So what's happening now? Well, these leases are going to be up. Prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up. Housing has become more expensive for them, but the competition is much, much lower. So they actually have an advantage in this market to where they can re-enter the housing market and hopefully get something under contract. The monthly payment is going to be higher, but they won't have to take it as is. They won't have to drop their contingencies and their appraisal and bring a bunch of cash to closing. But this doesn't mean that they're not going to have to compete with other people. Now, when a home is priced right and it is presented right and it is clean and ready, that we are still seeing multiple offers. I just heard from an agent who they just won out of 12 offers on a home. So it is still happening, but here's the biggest difference. When you're competing against other offers, they're not all dropping contingencies, and you're still able to negotiate and get some concessions. You might have to pay list price, but you might be able to negotiate that seller paying to buy your rate down, making that house a little cheaper. You can still go through your inspections and request and negotiate repairs, costing you less in the long run, to where you don't have to do that after you move in. So when we take all of that into consideration, my prediction for the spring market, I don't think it's going to be super hot, but I also don't think it's going to be not. If we're going off of temperatures, I think we're going to be lukewarm to a little warmer. We're not going to be room temperature. We're not going to go down. Things are going to progress probably slightly faster than they have historically, but not quite like they have the past few years. Just my predictions, what I'm seeing, what's going on in the market, what historically happens. What do you think after hearing all of that? Do you agree with what you put down there below? Is it hot? Is it not? Is it going to be lukewarm? Or is it just going to tank, and is everything going to crash and go up in flames? We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. As always, if you're looking to sell or buy anywhere in the greater Charleston area, I would love to be your realtor of choice. Again, my name is Bill Olson. I've got all of my contact information below. I've got this video right over here that I really think you're going to enjoy. So go ahead, just click on that, and then don't forget to subscribe and ring that little bell below so you're informed anytime I put out one of these awesome videos just for you. Have a good one.